The blade dealer, make a nigga forfeit, yeah, cause I'm the realest. Hey, niggas talking short shit, nah, I need a million.
Big stepper, yeah, bitch, I be stepping. Coolin' kit with the flip switch, bitch, that's the weapon. No drama.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access.
This legend bring them sounds in one time.
I'm hard, and we got you. And that's it, man. Go purchase Bigpatssportstalk merch and support the family, man. And welcome to Bigpatssportstalk. Thank you for your support. What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of New York Giants Full Access with your boy Bigpatssportstalk. And today we're going to be reacting to First Things First. Yes, Mr. Uncle Toucan himself, the Fruit Loop Bird. That's what he looks like to me a little bit. But Nick Wright is going to be talking about the Hard Knocks, the Giants Hard Knocks episode 2, when Shoen said that not even Patrick Mahomes could have succeeded behind our offensive line last year. So the First Things First crew is going to talk about that. And you know this is a reaction, so I'm going to chime in. So let's get into it.
Yeah, they're getting longer and longer.
Andy's telling us to shut up during it. Because it'll be longer. You either want it short or you want to chime in. Hard knock life for the Giants and Daniel Jones, who was battered behind a porous offensive line last year, 30 sacks in 6 games. Here's Giants GM Joe Shoen illustrating how bad the line was.
The reality is, facts.
Yeah.
3 serious injuries in 2 years.
Yeah.
We need to protect ourselves. He didn't have much of a chance this year. That's legit. Like your off-season, the 4 guys, your core guys that were going to play together played less than 60 snaps together.
Yep.
We got Miami, we got 3 practice squad guys playing for us.
Yeah.
Like, nobody could. Like, you could have Pat Mahomes and he can't win it behind that.
Me and the Big Blue Crew, G Nation Inside Sports, NYG, Coach Ed, Joe, Classified 3F with Joe, Miz, when he does Miz in the midday, we have all mentioned this before the exact same way. We all said, man, if that offensive line playing like that, I don't care if it is Patrick Mahomes, the team is going to struggle. That's not comparing Daniel Jones to Patrick Mahomes. That's just comparing the situation. That situation Daniel Jones it was in those games last year was utterly ridiculous. We gave up 85 sacks, and Daniel Jones was hit with 30 of them in only 6 games. That is ridiculous. Whether you want to say Daniel Jones is horrible or not, whether you want to say he was responsible for some of those sacks, he wasn't responsible for all 30. And it didn't stop after he got injured, because we wound up giving 85 sacks up for the whole season. And to believe it or not, the offensive line got better after Daniel Jones got hurt, when some people started to become off injury. But last year was utterly ridiculous when it came to the offensive line play those first couple of games. Utterly ridiculous. But let's see what these guys got to say.
I mean, there's a lot.
Did they not respond? Did they just sit there?
Well, listen, I'm surprised at no point he didn't say, "Hey guys, where's my camera? Hey, where's it? I mean,
so now when Joe Shoen says that, he's saying that for the camera, saying that Patrick Mahomes behind an offensive line that's on a historic pace for giving up sacks. That's saying it for the camera, like. Patrick Mahomes, if you would have came to the Giants last year, we would have been Super Bowl contenders. That's what they're saying. Basically, that Joe Shoen just said that for the cameras to protect Daniel Jones or whatever. Okay.
this was.
Who did this? Who did this? Who's the GM of this team?
Right. So I mean, so there's a lot there, which is it's obviously the Giants needed to invest in the offensive line, and they did this offseason. Nobody denied.
So if that's such a joke and that's so crazy, why would you say they needed to invest in the offensive line? Why wouldn't you just say, hey, go get a Patrick Mahomes type quarterback and everything would be okay? Why would they need to invest in the offensive line?
That also, some of those sacks though are on Dable, the head coach. That
actually can be true. I believe the play call in the beginning of the season was not conducive to what this team's level was. That could be true.
Or not recognizing it on the fly and max protecting, doing things you need to do.
Sure.
Some of them are on Shoen for seeing Daniel Jones. All three of those injuries didn't happen last year, and he gave him the big contract extension after 1 year on the job. And some of those sacks are on Daniel Jones. Sacks are a quarterback stat as well. They are not.
Okay, now sacks are a quarterback stat. Okay.
Just a quarterback stat, but there is. So Mahomes, who he invoked there, the Chiefs have had varying degrees of quality offensive line over the last 4 years. He is ranked in his amount of time sacked in the league 27th, 21st, 21st, 22nd. So that's been very consistent.
None of those years have been 32. And the Giants' offensive line has been 32, between 28 and 32 for the past 6 years.
Quality offensive line hasn't, because sacks are something of a quarterback stat, evidenced by Sam Howell being power bombed into the earth like at a rate like we've never seen before because he can't help himself. Sorry, Wilds. Wow. So this falls to me, Brew, on a little bit of deaf ears, being like, what do you want us to do? It's not the guy who I gave $160 million to fault hard knock scammer in the corner of my office. It's
No, look, I totally agree. And we've seen Joe Burrow operate behind a poor offensive line. Now, he's gotten hurt.
I've seen him operate in the hospital.
No, but he gets hurt.
What happened to Joe Burrow last year? What happened to him the year before? Is Joe Burrow putting up stats? Yes, but he has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, he had Tyler Boyd, he had a good tight end, he had Joe Mixon. And their offensive line still ain't as bad as the Giants' offensive line. You talking as if Joe Burrow hasn't had injury after injury after injury. Those offensive lines wear on you, bro, if they're not blocking. So let's stop the whole Joe Burrow thing where he had basically one good season behind a porous offensive line with 3 number 1 weapons on the field and a number 1 running back and an offensive coordinator that was very good at the time. And let's not act like their defense wasn't getting them the ball back consistently. That was not all Joe Burrow. Sorry.
He got hurt in practice rolling out. Yeah. Right? We don't know what
he tore his ACL before
injury occurred. So, but he's been able to maneuver poor offensive lines. No, he has consistently.
That first game, Giants-Cowboys, was there 1 second of that game where you're like, man, Daniel Jones, he's not getting it done?
I'm not saying.
Micah's like, oh, right there.
I think Nick hit on head. Everybody.
That's an absolute fact. Other guy in the other suit, I don't know his name, but that's an absolute fact. Like in that Dallas game, man, do you really think that's on Daniel Jones, bro? Like, seriously, man, that Dallas game was absolutely, tremendously horrible. So you mean to tell me out of that Dallas game, you walked out of that Dallas game and say, man, Daniel Jones ain't it? Like, be real, man. Like, come on, bro.
He has a responsibility for those sacks, and their offensive line is horrible. But we see quarterbacks, Josh Allen's offensive lines aren't always the best.
They're not always the best, but they're not like that. Name one offensive line that's like that and a quarterback is just balling. Name one quarterback that has an offensive line like Daniel Jones and he just balling. Come on, man.
We see quarterbacks.
What was Purdy's ranked?
Purdy's was ranked 21st, bottom 11.
21st is way higher than 32. What are you talking about? Make it make sense. You're talking about the 21st ranked offensive line compared to 32. And it's not even close. 85 sacks, bro. Come on, man.
Purdy never had a game like that. And Purdy's slow.
Exactly.
How
than
much
Daniel
that
Jones.
quarterbacks have?
How much
You
of
have
that
to
is
have a
Purdy?
quick release. You have to be mobile.
Quick
and you
release
have
to
to be
who?
smart. And
Who do you want
ready to
Daniel
get it done.
Exactly. To who? He doesn't have Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Jennings, and at the very worst, decent offensive line. He doesn't have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, a good tight end, Joe Mixon. Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Is Darius Slayton getting open like Jamar Chase? Or Brandon Ayuk? Nowhere near that level. And Slayton was his best receiver. Wan'Dale Robinson was still recovering from his ACL. Waller was leading the league in tight end and yards because that's who he was going to. Not to mention he was getting tipped up in the air interceptions because his receivers was batting the ball in the air. Like, make it make sense. I don't understand these cats, man.
Saquon Barkley's maneuvered okay. I get pass blocking and run blocking are different, but he's maneuvered okay through that offensive line.
I admit pass blocking and run blocking is totally different, but Saquon Barkley moved okay behind that offensive line. Is Saquon Barkley blowing up the world? Saquon Barkley in his career has had 2 explosive years out of the 6 years he was here because of this offensive line. And you gonna sit there and act like Saquon Barkley just been consistently been great? Come on, man. Stop it.
Defending the line. I'm just saying it is clear that top-notch quarterbacks can maneuver a poor offensive line.
The poorest offensive line Patrick Mahomes ever had was in the Super Bowl, right? We're going to say that?
Yeah.
He was pressured on 33%
They were
of his
facing a
snaps.
Super Bowl team
Right, that's
as
the-
well.
And he
Super
had
Bowl
an
opponent.
a makeshift offensive line, and he was
Against
totally
the Super Bowl.
ineffective.
But that makeshift offensive line, I know the injuries occurred late in that season, but
So you just gonna look over the fact of that? The poor is his offensive line. He got pressured on 33% of his passes, and he looked a total shell of himself in that Super Bowl. So imagine, and then they say, oh, he was playing against a Super Bowl team. So imagine playing behind an offensive line where every team looks like a Super Bowl team, Super Bowl ready defense, when every team looks like that. Imagine playing behind an offensive line that makes every single body that you play look like a Super Bowl defense as far as getting pressure. Make it make sense, man.
still he maneuvered throughout the season.
But yeah, I know, but no, Mahomes' offensive line during that year was not as patchwork as it was.
No,
in
it got
the Super Bowl.
decimated by the very end. That is correct.
And we saw him not be able to operate.
Except, right, but I knew you were going to bring that up. And Brew's point but that was also against a great pass rush, not just your whole league schedule. But the other thing is, you know what a lot of people came away from that game saying? Oh my God, Mahomes actually kind of played great given the circumstances. People,
he was
Who said that?
under duress.
you watched the game and you were like, oh, he was making things happen even though the team, he had no time. Not what people were saying when watching Daniel Jones. But now I wish I had a picture of Kevin Wildes. Dusty the board.
Oh, wow.
There's not a lot of hard and
Please
fast
put Wildes
rules
up there.
But one of them
He's
is
masquerading as a Chiefs fan.
Joe Shane. Don't ever use Patrick Mahomes' name in the same sentence as Daniel Jones, and certainly don't ever have this quote exist. Mahomes can't win. I don't care what you said after that. Those 3 words with an expletive in the middle came out of your mouth. Joe Shane, you're on the board.
That is the only thing.
And I've had enough of this show. This is exact sentiment that these dudes say on Twitter. That's how I know you guys just watch TV and get all your points off TV. Nobody compared Daniel Jones to Mahomes. He said the situation was so bad that not even Mahomes could have won behind an offensive line that porous. And it's been proven. When Patrick Mahomes was behind that offensive line, with that makeshift offensive line against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that Super Bowl, he looked out of sorts. There was nothing he could have done. There was nothing he could have done. They were throwing up peace signs to Tyreek Hill and everything because they were so ineffective, bro. And that's how they counteracted. No, you can't compare Daniel Jones and Mahomes. You shouldn't even use Daniel Jones and Mahomes in the same sentence. Like, come on, bro. Like, let's talk real. And that is real. When Patrick Mahomes' offensive line was horrible like 2 seasons ago, during that stretch of about 5 to 6 games, that dude was getting hit, concussed, and he was leading the league in turnovers during that period before they got it together towards the end of the season. And Patrick Mahomes has never played behind the offensive line as bad as Daniel Jones has been playing his whole career. But you want to sit here and instead of coming with valid points against the other guy that was on the panel who was making valid points, you just turn around, oh, you can't mention Daniel Jones and Mahomes in the same sentence. Come on, man. That's why I created this channel, man, to call out people in these videos that do this crap, man. It's crazy. You have nothing of value to say against real points and real facts. Don't ever mention Patrick Mahomes and can't win. Why? The one time you saw Patrick Mahomes play behind an offensive line that's anywhere close to what Daniel Jones has been doing with, he couldn't win. He couldn't win. It's a fact. Oh, they played against a Super Bowl defense. Now imagine playing behind an offensive line that every defense looks like a Super Bowl defense as far as getting towards the quarterback. Because your offensive line is so porous. It's ridiculous, man. But hey, it is what it is, man. I don't get it. And Joe Shane says the same thing that we said, but hey, look, I guess Joe Shane's an idiot too now. Or he's just doing it for the cameras. To hype up Daniel Jones. Why would he try to hype up Daniel Jones? He doesn't need to. It's not going to do anything. People are still going to have the same idea about Daniel Jones regardless of what anybody says. If you're not saying Daniel Jones is the most horrible quarterback to ever play, you're an idiot. Or Daniel Jones lover, or Daniel Jones lawyer, or Daniel Jones apologist. It's just ridiculous, bro. That's why I love doing these videos on this channel, because I love facts. And that's a fact. When Patrick Mahomes plays behind a porous offensive line, he's not the same guy. Because you can't be the same guy, because you need your offensive line to produce. But hey, it is what it is. Hopefully the offensive line gets themselves together and we can see what Daniel Jones can do. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that big blue join button, and talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk and join the Big Blue crew. And cop you some merch. I'm not going to tell you no more. And I do appreciate everybody that's looked at the merch and cop merch in the past couple of weeks. Appreciate you guys. And until the next episode, you know what it is, man. Peace.
Hitting the mic, spitting the facts, coming with full access. Big Pat in the house with giant tactics. Eli's handoff, rapping the classics. 90s beats, we blast this in New York. Big Blue. Where the G-men roam, Super Bowls in the vault, that's the Empire's home. Red, white, and blue, where the legends are grown. Giants full access, this the zone, got the tone.